to the Father through the Son, whose name is Yahushua. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, and given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if you do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that you do not believe. In this state, you should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything that you do get, whether it be a gift of tongues, a gift of prophecy, or any supernatural experience that you may have, it can and it will be used against you in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that couldn't make it, to the saints watching in on the camera. But no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent, that they might live. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. All right, we skipped a week, so we got to do double time this week. You know what I'm talking about? Double time. You know what that means?
You ain't got no life.
You know what I'm saying? What you got? Which one? You know what I'm saying? Which one of your plans I got? Trying to figure out what you going clubbing after this? Goodness gracious. We doing double time today. But you know what double time is, right? Who know what double time? What double time when it comes to dancing?
Double the time. Pretty much.
You gotta go faster.
Yeah, move faster.
Right? I know when you rap, you know what I'm saying? When rapping, you double time, you know what I'm saying? That means you rapping fast, what Twister do. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Then you can do that double time rap.
Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, Busta Rhymes do it too. You know what I'm saying?
No. Where's your best friend?
So we're gonna have to do double time. We're gonna have to try to shoot through some stuff. So last week we left off at we left out John chapter 14, going into John chapter 15.
No, we finished John 15. Well, we was in the middle of John 15.
What? No, we weren't.
Yes, we were.
No, we weren't.
It's on my notebook.
I'm almost positive we have not read John 15.
Yeah, we read John 15.
Bro, I am the vine.
13 through 15 verse, John 15.
We might have stopped in John 15 to pick up something, but we didn't read that chapter.
No, we read
14.
We read all of 14.
Yeah.
And then we read the middle of 15.
Yeah, I think if it was 13 and 15, that's probably because I was getting, you know what I'm saying, no greater love. So let's go ahead and go to John chapter 15, verse 1. Let's listen to the book.
This one's like just as simple as the the epistle of John.
Yes, what?
This one's like as simple as the epistle of John.
Oh, like the way it's written, like just straightforward?
You can tell the same person wrote
it. Yeah. This is John chapter 15, verse 1. Watch what the book say.
I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that bears not fruit, he takes away. And every branch that bears fruit, he prunes it, that it may bring forth more fruit.
We used to have a joke. You know what I'm saying? That thing ain't popular no more. Y'all remember the Vine video, the Vine app? It's like what TikTok is now. You remember the Vine? You know, that thing was Vine. And so, you know, the kids used to go out. And same thing as TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Same thing as like Snapchat, TikTok. And the kids, you know what I'm saying? You had these short videos and they'd do something, you know what I'm saying? They'd put it in people's face. They say, do it for the Vine. Do it for the Vine. So it used to be, you know what I'm saying? Whenever the thing came out, I could say, do it for the Vine. Now I say that, don't nobody know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about? It's crazy how fast, you know what I'm saying? That was just 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? How fast stuff just get old. Don't nobody even know what it is no more.
And that's all right. Repeats in another name.
Yep. TikTok. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. TikTok ain't nothing but Vine. Right. You know what I'm saying? Somehow they monetize it better though. Let's make it happen. This is verse 2. 3.
Now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. What
make us clean then?
The word.
That's beautiful, ain't it? These people be trying to get everything else, don't they? They trying to find every other way. I mean, all you got to do, I just go to church and I put my hands up and praise God and he just sanctifies. I mean, all that's nice. That's real nice. But what the book say you clean by?
The word that I've spoken unto you.
That's it. If you hear the word, you have a chance to be clean. I don't care how much praising and sanctifying and jumping around and singing that you think you're doing. I can't call that one. I ain't got no book for that one. I do got books saying, that thing got me, didn't it? Somebody got to kill that thing, messing up the show. I'm gonna be like darn Pence. You remember the Pence? They had Pence. They called him with the thing. I'm gonna be like darn Pence. Don't get me.
I wasn't going nowhere.
Yeah, don't get me. I'll smack it, but y'all gonna see me smack myself on darn camera like pow. What, verse 4? 3?
Yeah, 4. Abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can you except ye abide in me.
Okay.
No more can you except you abide in me. I am the vine and you are the branches. He that abides in me and I in him, the same brings forth much fruit.
Right? So he's trying to paint a picture for you that is based off of logic. You know what I'm saying? He's saying, listen, I'm the vine. You know what I mean? Y'all the branches. In other words, y'all offshoot from the vine. As long as you got him? As long as you got the vine, then the branches have a chance to bear fruit. Watch what he say.
If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered.
Right? So he said, if he don't abide in me, in other words, abide means remain, attached. Right? So if you don't remain attached to me, then you're going to be cast forth as a branch, as a dry branch. What's going to happen if I tell you go outside and just break one of the branches off of the tree? What's going to happen to that branch?
It's going to wither away.
That ain't just going to wither away. You think it's going to keep on growing? You just take it off and you just carrying it around and just going to keep on growing leaves in your hand? No, that thing's done. Right? So he's saying, look, I'm the vine. Y'all the branches. Go ahead and stick with me. If you stick with me, you can have fruit. Otherwise, you're going to be dried up and shriveled. And what's going to happen?
And men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned.
And men gather. What do we do, Zar, when I'm outside and I'm ready to smoke my darn meat? You know what I'm saying? What do I go get and put inside of the fire?
Stones.
They look like stones, but not quite stones. I get the wood. Well, you talking about the coal. Yeah, I put the coal in first to make it hot, and then I get a piece of wood, put it on that darn smoker. Where do you think that wood came from?
A tree.
A tree. That wood ain't no good. The only thing it's good for is what?
To be burned.
Throw it in the fire. So the Most High God is saying, if you want to be something that's just good enough to be thrown in fire, she threw up, baby. If you just want to be something that's just good enough to be thrown in fire, what you going to do?
Be attached.
Just don't be attached. Don't be attached to Yahushua. Right? Don't be made clean by his word. You good enough to be thrown in fire at that point. However, if you want to make it out of that situation and you want to bear fruit and you want to be appreciated and you want to sit out in the tree and have life and people look at you and say, oh, you know what? Look at that. Look at the glory of the Most High God. Right? Oh, well, then you stay attached. You got to stay attached to the vine. Then you got to stay attached to the to the trunk of the tree. Right? That's why the man said he's the vine. He said, if you get shriveled up and you ain't got no use, men just going to pick you up and cast you in the fire. That's what hell is. Right? The punishment of hell is that we burn forever if we don't obey the Messiah. That's why it's important for us, right? It's important for us. We got to understand the book. We got to pay attention to the book. And then we got to walk in it. You know what I'm saying? You don't walk in it. That's the last part of it. You got to learn it. Hold what we got right there. Go back to John chapter 6. It's John chapter 6, verse 44. Because a lot of people don't understand the order of how things are supposed to work. People be looking at it. After we get John chapter 6, verse 44, then give me Romans chapter 10. Because we got to understand. Don't we got to understand this stuff, Daniel? I mean, there's no way that we going to get it. After you give me Romans chapter 10, give me, before you get any of that, give me Romans chapter 15, verse 1. This is Romans chapter 15, verse 1. Because I feel like we have to understand what we're talking about. This is Romans chapter 15, verse 1. Watch what the book say.
We then that are strong ought to bear infirmities of the weak, and not to please ourselves. Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good to edification. For even the Messiah pleased not himself, but as it is written, the reproaches of them that reproached you fell on me. For whatsoever things were written before time were written for our learning, that we through the patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
Right? So if it was written aforetime for our learning, what does that mean? Don't that mean that we got to understand what we're talking about? Grab 1 Corinthians chapter 15.
I'll ask him.
Go let her eat her food. What verse?
Verse 1.
Moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel which I preached.
He said that I declare unto you the gospel which I did what?
Preached unto you.
Which I preached unto you. Past tense. I already preached this unto you. Which you do what?
Which also you have received and wherein you stand.
He said, and you received it. So I already preached it to you, and you received it, and you standing in it. When he says standing in it, that means you're obedient to it. Right? Watch this.
By which also you are saved.
He said, and by that gospel that I preached unto you, on which you received, and on which you standing in it, you are also saved.
If you keep in memory what I preached unto you.
If you remember it.
Unless you have believed in vain.
If you don't remember it, I'm acknowledging that I preached it to you. I acknowledge that you received it. I acknowledge that you stand in it right now. What I'm telling you is, if you don't remember it, you believed in vain. It was worthless. You killed time. The man is telling you the things that was written is for our admonition. The man is sitting there coming back and telling you, look, I preached it to you. Oh no, and you received it. I acknowledge that. Oh no, and you still walking in it. I acknowledge that. And it'll save you too, if you keep it in memory. Like that means you can't stop. You can't get to a point and just be like, oh man, I know this book like inside and out. We good, and just keep moving. Don't even read it no more. You know the book so well, you don't even read it no more. You know the book so well, you don't even go learn no more. I don't even need to go, you know what I'm saying? I don't even need to go sit and, you know what I'm saying, sit down. Why would you put away what got you there? That don't make no sense. Right? You learn the book constantly. There's no way to get away from it. Watch what we got. This is John chapter 6, verse 44. This is John chapter 6, verse 44. We have to know the order. You saw what Paul said, man. It's this word that I preached unto you. And you received it. And you stand in it. By which you are also saved. If, condition, you keep it in memory. Right? Because he already gave them. That's what we got to do. We got to hear the word. Right? And then once we hear the word, then we can receive it. Once we receive the word, then we can stand in it. That means we obedient to the word. When all three of those line up, he's telling you, then you're saved. You can be saved if you do that, right? But he's telling you, okay, there's still one thing though. You gotta stay with it. Like that can't slip. You gotta keep that up to the end of your life. Like right now, I acknowledge you there, but you still living. So therefore, you gotta keep it in memory. Otherwise, you'll mess around and slip, right? All right, let's see. This is John chapter 6, verse 44.
No man can come to me except the Father which has sent me draw him.
Okay, so now we got a little bit. I wish I would have prepared for this and put something on the board, right? It's like, okay, so you looking at it. He said, no man can come to me unless he was what?
Drawn by the Father.
Read it for me.
No man can come to me except the Father which has sent me draw him.
He said, except the Father which has sent me draw him, right? So what's the order of operations here? The very first thing we looking at is Yahushua got sent, right? Next thing is man get drawn. Okay, keep going.
And I will raise him up at the last day.
And then after that, he'll get raised at the last day. All right? So he gave you the end point. There's still some in between here. Let's see if the next verse will tell us about the in between.
It is written in the prophets.
It is written in the prophets.
And they shall all be taught of God.
And they shall all be taught of Yah. Watch what he say now.
Every man, therefore, that has heard and has learned of the Father comes to me.
That got that. The only way to get in is you have to. I mean, there's no other way. Yahushua got to be sent. That's done. Right? Then you got to be drawn by God. That's something that you don't even realize is happening. You remember when Peter was talking to Yahushua, and Yahushua was like, who do men say I am? Right? And Peter was like, well, you the son of the living God. You the Messiah, son of the living God. Right? And he told me, like, flesh and blood didn't reveal that to you, but my Father. He was like, and I'll tell you this, you the son of Jonas. Right? You know my daddy and I know your daddy. Right? That's what he was trying to tell you, the son of Jonas. Right? He let him know, huh? Yeah, he let him know. He is looking like, oh, okay, you know my daddy, I know your daddy. Let me let you know. Okay. Now let's just talk about fathers at this point. He said, my father revealed, flesh and blood didn't reveal. Do you think Peter in his mind was looking like, God just gave me something? No, that was God drawing him. That's how God draws you. It just happened. You don't understand what's happening. It just happened. Something just made me come this direction. Something just happened to make me click on this on YouTube. Something just happened to make me, walk past while this conversation was happening. I asked a question. Something just made me sit next to this person at work. Something just made me, something just, right? And then you get to that point, it's just like, I don't even know how I got here, but I'm here. That's the draw, right? That's the draw. That thing is natural, right? At that point, you hear the word. Because he said, it is written in the prophets that they shall all be taught of Yah, right? Therefore, any man who has
heard
or learned of the Father comes to me. So then you got to hear the word. Well, that's what Paul was talking about, right? Paul told him, he said, listen, I came to you and I preached it to you. Hey, get away from that cord, boy. I preached it to you, and you received it, and you stand in it. Well, that's the heard and the learned. Because once you hear it, you learn it. And then remember what he said. You got to keep it in memory. That goes to the learn too. Anyone who has heard and learned the word comes to me. That's the order. Let's see if we can break it down another way. It's Romans chapter 10. It's Romans chapter 10. I think I need about verse 13, maybe 14.
The guy says 13.
You think 13, son? You think you smarter than me?
You want 9.
Ow!
Or if you want like the end of it, it's 13. Yeah.
13?
Yeah, it's 13. That's the end of it.
What I want then?
Well, 9 says if you confess with your mouth the Lord.
Okay, that's what I want, 9. I want 10, actually. I want 10.
All right, 10.
This is Romans chapter 10, verse 10.
For what the heart man believes unto righteousness.
Oh, that's 10? Yeah. All right, give me 11 then. This is, give me 10, sorry. This is Romans chapter 10, verse 10. He said.
For what the heart man believes unto righteousness.
Okay.
And with the mouth confession is made unto salvation.
Okay.
For the scripture says, whosoever believes on him shall not be ashamed.
He said, whosoever believes on him shall not be ashamed. Watch this.
For there is no difference between the Jew and the Greek, for the same Lord over all is rich unto all that call upon him.
Okay.
For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved.
Okay.
How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed?
So look, how can you call on him if you didn't believe? Keep going.
And how shall they believe in him on whom they have not heard?
And how in the world can you believe if you haven't heard?
And how shall they hear without a preacher?
And how in the world can you hear without a preacher?
And how shall they preach except they be sent?
And you can't preach unless you sent. So now let's look at our whole order. Yahushua gotta be sent. Right? From there, you have to be drawn. That's just that invisible. You don't understand it. You're not going to understand it until after the fact. When you start learning the book, you're going to look back and be like, oh, that was God. But while it's happening, you're not going to understand it. You don't know what's going on. You just think it's just a regular day and it's just circumstances. It's just happenstance. Right? So
take it to go play.
Yahushua got to be sent. After that, you got to be drawn. Then from there, some preacher got to be sent, right? And then they are going to preach. And then from there, you have to receive what's being preached. In other words, you have to hear it, right? Then after that, it has to come to your mind as an understanding, which means you have to believe, right? Then once you believe and it has an understanding, then you have to walk in it and stand in obedience, right? And then after that, you have to keep it in memory and stay consistent with what you're doing. And at the end of that whole process, there's salvation. If you don't understand that order, and then the details even below that, right, within the order, what am I obeying? What am I understanding? How does it work? If you don't understand those things, you don't get it, because at any point, the person preaching to you can be preaching something to you wrong. So if you believe what they talking about, then you don't get to that source. You don't get to that end state. At any point in that chain, if anything goes wrong, you don't get to that end point. And what you have today are people that somewhere in the chain or the chain altogether is wrong. Right? Let's say they were sent from God and they preach, but you didn't hear it. You heard something else. That's wrong. You're not going to get there. Let's say they were sent from God, but they preached to you something different from what they were sent to do. Right? You didn't get it. Let's say they wasn't sent from God and they preach. You never going to get it. Let's say they wasn't sent from God, they preached, and you heard. You never still going to get it. Right? Because it's broken. It's not going to take you to the source. That's what we got to understand. Right? So when we go back, this is John chapter 15, verse, what verse were we on?
15, you said John 15, verse 6.
This is John chapter 15, verse 6. Right? That's the connection that we're talking about. When he say, I want you to stay, I'm the vine, y'all a branch. If you abide in me, what we just talked about is what it takes to abide in him. You have to remain. That's why you can't lose it in memory. That's why Paul say keep it in memory. Because if you do, you believed in vain. As soon as you lose it from memory, you become disattached. And at that point, you're good enough to throw in the fire. Right? You're going to have to remember, that way you can reattach. As long as you attach, you good. As long as you disattach, you at risk of the fire. Let's see.
If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered. And men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. Mm-hmm. If you abide in me and my words abide in you, you shall ask what you will, and it shall be done unto you. Mm-hmm. Herein is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit, so you shall be my disciples. Mm-hmm. If you keep my commandments...
Hold on, that's a good one. I'm happy you paused there. He said, herein, what?
Herein is my Father glorified.
He said, herein is my Father glorified. So you hear these people.
Much fruit.
You hear these people, right? Oh, I praise you. I praise you. And I glorify your name. No, you laugh. That's a good song now. That's a good song. I ain't gonna lie to you now. That's a good song. Them Christians ain't all bad now. Y'all need to cut that out. That's a good Christian song now. Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong about that song now. I glorify your name.
You know what
I'm talking about? They seen that thing. You look at it and they like, I'm glorifying your name. But are they? Like in that book, I'm just saying, like, if we wanted to go and get a definite and be like, okay, what does it take to glorify his name? What we gonna do? I think we're going to go to John chapter 15, what, verse 7 or 8?
7.
I think we're going to go to John chapter 15, verse 7 and read this. We're going to go to John chapter 15, verse 8, and we're going to read this. Watch.
Herein is my Father glorified.
How do you glorify the Father?
That you bear.
Herein. Look, this is the question. You know you got question and answers. Question. How do I glorify the Father? Herein. Watch this.
Is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit. So shall
you got to bear a lot of fruit in context of what we're talking about, right? He's saying you got to be attached to the branch, which causes you to bear fruit. We talked about being attached to the branch means that somebody got to be sent to preach to you, in which you hear it and then you believe it and then you walk in it in obedience and then you keep it in memory,
And create in me a clean heart, and that way I can teach transgressors your ways. Bearing fruit.
Right? So you look at it, you got to stay connected, and then from there, you bear fruit. What does the book say?
As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love.
Okay.
If you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love.
Okay.
Even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love.
Okay.
These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full.
Okay.
This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you.
Right.
Greater love has no man than this, than a man lay down his life for his friends.
Okay.
And you are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you.
That's what we read last week, right? We got another condition there. You're my friend if you do whatever I command you. We got commandments from Yahushua. What was the first one?
Repent.
First commandment, he came out. He came out, he was like, okay, book say he started ministry. First thing he say, repent because the kingdom of God is at hand. He just jumped out there. He didn't say nothing. Hey, repent. He talking about himself. You understand? Like, you got to understand, I'm talking about myself. The kingdom, look at me. The kingdom of God is here. It's at hand. Y'all better repent. First thing he said. Then he started teaching the people. Okay, what do you want us to do? I want you to love one another. People look at that and they think like, oh, that's so much better than the law. Oh, that's so much better than the law. Woo!
That's a trap for your way.
You know what I'm saying? Woo, that's a load off there, isn't it?
They have no idea.
You know what I'm talking about? Grab Leviticus chapter, what I want, 18 or 19?
About, what are you thinking about?
I just want a sundry of laws. I think I want 18.
18 is, yeah, it's kind of like miscellaneous stuff.
Yeah. Give me, what'd you spray? What'd you spray?
Disinfectant. I clean the bathroom.
You trying to kill my children?
They come over here at the room.
Ooh, that thing ain't touch my kid.
Yeah, okay.
Saved, sanctified.
And I glorify your name. What's another Christian song?
I don't know. It's a bunch.
It was one. It was another Christian song that I like.
Like.
But we get up.
Yeah, that's another.
I don't like that one now. We fall down and we get up. Some of them, I be thinking, me, it's the message that gets me. You know what I'm saying? We fall down, but we get up. Yeah, I don't like that thing because the message of that is like, fall down. That's what I hear when it's like, you ain't even got to worry about no matter what you do. That's how I got to look at it. That's that no matter what you do message to me. I mean, it ain't necessarily inaccurate, but that thing borderline for me. I ain't into that. What's the one? What's that? Take me to the King. I don't know the next one.
I don't know.
Don't have much to bring.
You're a Christian. I don't have much to bring.
Bro, the king gonna be offing things. I don't think they like
Here's my offering.
really. You know what I mean?
See, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that one is all right, but it's like, what's your offering? Now, when you say here, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I need that to be a little bit more specific. Your offering got to be all of you. You gotta understand, when, oh man, we reading it right now. When these disciples were chosen, they had no idea. Yahushua was trying to tell them. He was trying to tell them. He was like, no, indeed. You know what I'm saying? No, indeed, you will be baptized with the baptism that I was baptized with.
Oh, you gonna die for sure.
No. You don't realize it. You're gonna get the baptism that I'm being baptized with, but it's not quite the same. That's what he's trying to tell.
They gonna hang you.
Yeah.
You gonna get burned.
Yeah, he tell Peter,
gonna get your head chopped
it's like,
off.
it's gonna come a time that, you know what I'm saying, like right now, you get up, you put your own clothes on, stretch your own arms out. It's gonna come a time where a man gonna stand you up and sit you down and stretch your arms for you. Okay. Then John came back, John messy, John came back signifying how he gonna die. You know what I'm saying? John came back here signifying that's how he's gonna die. You know what I'm saying?
You talking about how Peter was gonna die, y'all.
You know what I'm saying? Peter always thought he was the man, you know what I'm saying? That's signifying how he's gonna die. You know what I'm talking about? You look at it, and the man was trying to tip him off like, yo, listen, it's gonna happen to y'all. Yeah, y'all chosen for this. And that's a glory at this point, right? Because all these people who trying to hear about me.
One of them get their head chopped off in Acts. Or one of them got killed in Acts.
In Acts, I think James and John got killed. Yeah, James and John got killed in Acts. And then, Paul ended up dying. He went to Rome. He got, Paul looking at Paul, he knew he was about to die, right? They said,
the book didn't say he died, though.
Book didn't say he died. We know he died, but book didn't say he died. The book said he was gonna die though, right? And like, you know what I'm saying? Remember the man, he came up to him with the belt? We gonna get to all this. I don't wanna spoil it.
Gonna take you to Jerusalem.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He said, the man who owned this belt, he told him, how you take a man's belt off, wrap it around I take your belt off, wrap it around my hand and say, just look around like you ain't standing in front of me. The man who owned this belt gonna be tied up just like this. You know what I'm saying? And he gonna be taken to Rome. I forget what he said exactly. Man said, he gonna be taken to Rome. He gonna be tied up just like that. He ain't coming back either. He said something like that. Right? Just looking like I ain't even standing right here. Like, you don't give me my darn belt back. You know what I'm saying? Won't you leave me alone?
Heck the ball nut.
Right? Everybody sitting there like, no, don't go to Rome. Paul's like, man, why y'all breaking my heart, man? What you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Don't you know how I die for this? Paul understood. He was like, no, this is what it is. What you mean you knew what I did? No, of course I do this. Crazy. Take me to Rome. Hey, first chance he got here, man, I appeal to Caesar. You remember Agrippa told him, he look, what Agrippa say? He's like.
You know I got the power to free you or something like that?
No. Agrippa, I think that was Yahushua. We about to read that. Agrippa told him,
you almost convinced me.
Yeah, he said that, but right after that, he was like, you might have I might have set you free. You didn't do nothing worthy of death. I might have set you free if you didn't appeal to Caesar.
Yeah. He's like,
Paul was like, no, I got a method. Like I'm trying. Remember when Paul's writing, he was like, man, I can't wait to get to Rome. Like the man was so full, he know he about to die. He had 2 prophets come to tell him he is about to die before he went to Jerusalem.
Yeah, the book of Acts ended all peaceful. It's like, he stayed building his house and working.
And he had to see Caesar. You know what Caesar did to his darn butt. Caesar looking like, y'all waste my time. I don't care nothing about this. You realize in history, after this point in history, that's when stuff got rough. Because you have to look at it. If you read through Acts, man, you got so many instances where these Romans had to get involved with these silly disputes. And after a while, it gets all the way to Caesar. It's like, you bring this foolishness to me. You know he start killing them boys. You know he's looking like, oh no, man, I ain't got time for this stuff, man. Get rid of all this stuff. All this. What are these? I don't know what you call them. I don't know. The Christians. I don't know. Get them. You know, they don't matter. The Jews, Christians. I don't care what they are. Just kill them. That's how it's meant to be, though. We got to be ready to die for this thing. We got to be able to see, like, okay, this is the end of it. All this little, well, it's just too hard, and I did this, and this happened, and man, that stuff ain't, man, we ain't did nothing yet, man. We ain't even ran with the darn horses yet, bro. We just sitting here. We ain't got nothing on these men of God that had to stay, man. We ain't even been faithful. We got men of God that went through it, and they stayed faithful through the midst of it. Our butts been sitting our whole life, turned 20-something, 30-something, and then try to get it right. And then instead of talking about, it's just too hard. You got some darn nerves. You look at the men of God, and they blood crying out to the Most High God. Revelation say they blood crying out to him. Like the nerve, he out here. Most High God, man, hold on. Let me give you a couple white robes. Just chill. I got y'all. These is real men of God that held it down.
Real.
And we sitting there, our whole life ain't even think about God. We sitting in church not thinking about God. You understand that? The whole time. And we got the nerves after doing it for a year. Doing it for a couple months. Woo! I don't know why God just don't give me a break. But you don't shut your butt up. You ain't darn done nothing, man. Y'all don't even want a man of God to come out here for real.
Really get off.
Y'all don't want a man of God. When I say man of God, a prophet, y'all don't want no prophet to come out here for real. Be able to just tell you, just imagine, be able to tell you exactly what's happening.
Tell you off, too.
Like, boy, now I know exactly what you just got done doing.
Your butt need to do this, that, third. Your butt need to.
And what you gonna say? Other than, no, I don't want to do it. All right, your butt going right to hell. Get your butt out of here. I wasn't talking to you anyway. This stuff, man, what the problem is the Most High God in his mercy, in his forbearance, has stepped back from us. When I say forbearance, what that means?
To take his hand back
He holding back.
before he do something to you.
That man is sitting there like, you about to whoop your kid. Boy, you better get out my darn face. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You better get out my darn face. Get your butt in that darn room. You know, you telling you, that's forbearance. Sometimes I be having forbearance with my kid. I don't even let them know. I just be looking at them from the other side of the room just like this.
Boy.
And they don't even realize I'm looking at them. I'm just waiting because sometimes all it takes is that eye contact. It be like, yep, ah, you know what I'm saying? You be looking at them, and my forbearance, I'm not going to go over there and smash him. I'm just not going to do it. But you looking at him, and he don't even realize he just sitting there just keep doing the bad stuff that he doing. That's the forbearance. That's what we doing. We doing it, and we think we getting away with something.
Treasuring up rap, right?
It's treasuring up wrath. Just stacking it up. Most High God just sitting there and just looking. Oh, you just going to keep. You just going. Oh, you think I'm a joke. And then when that time comes, going to be like, got him. That's it. Like, it ain't nothing to talk about. Done. Let's keep going. This is Romans chapter 15, what?
Oh, we're in Leviticus, man.
Oh, it's Leviticus chapter 18. Give me Leviticus chapter 18. What I want? Verse 1, verse 3, verse 5.
You can start at verse 1.
Verse 1. It's Leviticus chapter 18, verse 1. What does the book say? Because we got to understand, the man said, my commandment for you is to love one another, right? A lot of people are like, woo, it's much better than the law, right? Okay, well, what is the law really teaching us? Let's see.
And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Lord your God.
Okay.
After the doings of the land of Egypt where you dwelt, you shall not do. Mm-hmm. And after the doings of the land of Canaan where I bring you, you shall not do.
Okay.
Neither shall you walk in their ordinances.
So where you left and where you going, don't be doing what they doing. Neither shall you walk in their ordinances. Watch this.
You shall do my judgments.
You're going to do my judgments. You're going to do my ordinances. Watch this.
And walk therein. I am Yahuwah your God.
All right. He said, I'm Yahuwah. Right? Keep going.
You shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments.
Okay.
Which if a man do, he shall live in them.
He said, you keep my statutes and my judgments. He made a promise. And if the man do those, what's going to happen?
He shall live in them. I am Yahuwah.
That is the promise of the law. If you do them, you will live. Right? What is the other promise of the law that's in the forms of punishment?
Curses.
He said, if you don't continue in all in this law, you will be cursed. Those are absolutely opposed to one another. So that means the moment that we break the law in any fashion, we have a curse. If I break the law and I steal from my brother, the law provides a recompense for that, where I can say, okay, well, I'm going to. There's a judgment already in the law for that. I got to restore threefold or fourfold. Right? Okay, I'll restore it. Once it's restored, I'm cleared with a sacrifice. I'm cleared. Right? That don't clear a curse.
But I'm cursed. And all
that
people
don't
shall
clear
say,
the curse.
Amen.
That don't clear the curse. Right? So we are in a position where you got to keep it all. If you keep it all, you live. That's what Yahushua did. People wonder, like, everything got a mechanism to it. Why was he resurrected on the, y'all got to be quiet. Or go back over there. Why was he resurrected on the third day? That's because the man kept the whole law. He can't, by law, he has to have his life. The promise was you will live. By law, there's no other way around it. That by law, Most High God had to do it. I mean, the man could walk in because he know the scriptures. He can walk with all confidence. Like, what y'all gonna do? All right, tie me up there. What you talking about? Sitting there, you know what I'm saying? The man was like, he looking, why you think? Oh, we gotta get to it. We'll talk about it when we get. Why you think the man was hanging up there? And he said, why have you forsaken me? He's looking like, hold on.
I'm not supposed to die.
I'm feeling myself pass here.
Right.
What in the world are you doing?
No.
And why you not answering me? The man looking, freaking out. He looking like, what in the world is happening right now? I kept the whole thing. Are you just going, you want to abandon me here? This ain't part of the deal. So he started to freak out a little bit like, what in the world is going on?
Also,
Man got up, he was like, That's what I thought. You know what I'm saying? He get up and be like, yeah, that's what I thought.
Also,
you know what I'm talking about?
Fulfillment of scripture. Anybody that understood Psalm 22 at that time would have known, like, oh, that is the Messiah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they can go back and read it and be like, that's exactly what happened to him.
Yeah.
Like, they pierced my hands and my feet. They was laughing at me. They smacked me. And like, that whole thing played out in Psalm 22. So anybody that knew the scripture would have heard that, would have known he was the real deal.
That was like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's what we got going on here.
Yeah.
That's why that's how it worked though, it's after you die. Watch it, keep going. Let's talk about love. I'm surprised these Hebrews, you know what I'm saying? You know how the Hebrews like to split up the law. You got the dietary law, and then you got the ceremonial law, and then you got the clothing law. You know what I'm saying? And then you got this law and then that law.
Maybe they just do it to try to understand. I don't know.
Look, this the love law then. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're going to break it up, this the law of love. All right, keep going. Watch this.
None of you shall approach to any that is near to kin to him or uncover their nakedness.
Right?
I am Yahuwah.
This is teaching us how to love. He's saying don't go near to your near kin and approach them in their nakedness. Don't go try to sleep with somebody that's too close to you in relationship, in terms of family, in terms of bloodline. Right? Let's see.
The nakedness of your father.
Then he gets specific. He's like, don't go trying to mess with your father or your mom. Keep going.
Shall you not uncover? She is your mother. You shall not uncover her nakedness.
Uh-huh.
The nakedness of your father's wife shall you not uncover.
If your daddy go remarry, right? Don't mess with her. Right? Keep going.
It is your father's nakedness. The nakedness of your sister, the daughter of your father or the daughter of your mother. Whether she be born at home or born abroad, even their nakedness you shall not uncover. Mm-hmm. The nakedness of your son's daughter or of any of your daughter's daughter,
right?
Their nakedness.
So that got nieces, and granddaughters, right? Can't do it.
For theirs is your own nakedness.
Uh-huh.
The nakedness of your father's wife's daughter, begotten of your father, she is your sister. Mm-hmm. You shall not uncover her nakedness. Mm-hmm. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's sister. She is your father's near kinswoman. Mm-hmm. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister.
No aunts and uncles, right?
Kinswoman. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's brother. You shall not approach to his wife. She is your aunt.
Right? They gonna call this the sexual laws, right? Right? Watch it.
Yeah.
Go to 19. I want 19.
All right. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speaking to all the congregation of the children of Israel, and saying unto them, you shall be holy, for I, Yahuwah your God, am holy.
Right? You shall be set apart because I'm set apart. Right? You gotta set a difference. You always gotta set a difference. And I'm not trying to say you ain't gotta go out. Our approach to life should set a difference. Right? It should just make a difference. Like people should be like, oh, that's different. That's what the Most High God is looking for. Most High God is looking for something that's just separated from everything else. Like this thing, you just can't touch this easily. Like this is over here. Right? That's what we gotta be. Right? Watch this. Keep going.
You shall fear every man his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbaths.
You fear your mom, and he teaching us how to love. You fear your mother and father. And then you keep my Sabbath. Watch this.
Turn ye not unto idols, nor make yourselves molten gods. I am Yahuwah your God.
Teaching you how to love God. Don't turn to idols. Don't make molten gods. That got the crosses, the fish, the darn doves, all that. Right? Keep going.
And if you offer a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Lord, you shall offer it at your own will. Mm-hmm. It shall be eaten the same day you offer it on the morrow and on the morrow. And if aught remain until the third day, it shall be burnt in the fire. Mm-hmm. And if it be eaten at all on the third day, it is abominable. It shall not be accepted. Mm-hmm. Therefore, everyone that eats it shall bear his iniquity, because he has profaned the hallowed thing of the Lord. And that soul shall be cut off from among his people. Mm-hmm. And when you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not wholly reap the corners of your field.
Teaching us how to love. Look, this is your land. This is yours. You own this land. He said, when you go in and you harvest the field, right? You harvest the fruit of your land. He said, you shall not wholly reap it. Like you can't get everything off of it. What you supposed to do?
You shall not glean your vineyard, neither shall you gather every grape of the vineyard. You shall leave them for the poor and stranger. I am Yahuwah.
This is my field. I own this. Our law says you can't take everything off of it. Leave a little bit on there for the poor and for the stranger. For the poor and for the who?
Stranger.
For the poor and the stranger. So he's talking about for the poor Hebrews and for the people who ain't Hebrews that just happen to be walking through. Now the Hebrews don't want to talk about that part of it. They don't want to talk about the stranger piece of it. They just want to talk about, oh no, I mean the poor Hebrew. No, yeah. He said, and the strangers. But they not from here. They ain't got no house. They ain't got no property over here. That's why people can never say they got what they did from our book.
Never. Never, ever, ever.
Boys would have been stoned according to our law.
These people wicked. They've never been able to get that off. Not in our law.
We got the most righteous law this world has ever seen. What you talking about? These people like, oh, well, in this country right now, they be looking like, oh, well, I don't want to pay taxes because I don't feel like I should have to support people who are lazy or this, that, and the other, and all this stuff. That's how they look. It's our law. You didn't have a choice, boy. You sit your butt down and leave that stuff on there so people can take it if they walk past they want and they can take it. You better not say nothing to them. Matter of fact, it conditions our heart to be happy about it. It's these people that darn greedy and nasty and just want to, how you just have $1 billion? It's just crazy. You got to say this man got 120 something billion dollars. Like that is gleaning every piece of the field. Do you understand what that is? Man said you'd leave something for the stranger to get some, for the poor man to get some. Keep going. These people don't know nothing about love. You sitting there talking about, oh, that's a load off our shoulder. I'm happy I didn't live in them law time. Yeah, okay. That's why your butt can't love. Yeah. That's why the man told you that in the end days, the love of many is gonna do what?
Turn cold.
Gonna wax cold. Because they don't know what love is. These people have no idea what love is. All day they hypocrite all day. Keep going, watch this.
You shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another.
All right, teach you how to love, man. Don't be cheating nobody. Don't deal falsely, don't lie to nobody, man. Let's go.
And you shall not swear by my name falsely, neither shall you profane the name of your God. I am Yahuwah.
That's right. Don't be trying to swear on my name, making people believe you. Right? Keep going. Watch this.
You shall not defraud your neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with you all night until the morning.
Right? Teaching you how to love. He said, don't defraud him. Don't rob the man. Don't take his money. He said, matter of fact, if he did a job for you and you told him you were going to pay him Friday, don't wait until the last darn minute of Friday and be like, oh, my bad, let me get it to you now. No, pay that man. Stop playing. He did his work. You told him you were going to pay him this day, you pay him that day. We don't sit here hold on to it until Friday at midnight. Be like, oh, no, just come back at midnight. Man said, I did the work. You said you going to pay me Friday? Nah, Most High God, this is a just God. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to talk about love? These people ain't never read this stuff. Right? You want to talk about love? This is love. Watch it. Keep going.
You shall not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shall fear your God. I am Yahuwah.
Right? One of the righteous things that this country does do, you got a group, and they try to make all the websites, everything out there, you know what I'm saying? They try to make them like, okay, you got to have something for the blind and for the deaf people. Right? Where do you think they get that stuff from? That's us. You can't put no stumbling block before the blind. Right? Keep going.
You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. You shall not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. But in righteousness you shall judge your neighbor. You shall not go up and down as a talebearer among your people. Neither shall you stand against the blood of your neighbor. I am Yahuwah.
Right?
You shall not hate your brother in your heart.
He said, you shall not hate your brother in your heart. Teach you how to love. Watch this.
You shall in any wise rebuke your neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. You shall not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of your people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am Yahuwah.
There you go. So when a lot of people hear that, love your neighbor as yourself, the golden rule and all that different stuff, who does that get attributed to?
Yahushua.
Which is appropriate. Right? Whole word talking about him. So it's appropriate. I ain't going to say you wrong for attributing it to Yahushua, but just know, the world heard it first in the law.
If you don't believe Moses, how you going to believe me?
The world heard it first from Moses, right? That's the way that it got here is from Moses. The way it got to us from Moses. Moses got it from Yahushua. Then Yahushua came back and repeated it, right? But the world heard it first from Moses. You got to respect that. And then you have to say, when God is telling Yahushua to tell us to follow his commandment, and that his commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself, how do I love my neighbor as myself? Read Leviticus 19, right? Read Exodus 21 through 23, right? And many other places, right? In our law, right? The law. Yeah, just read the law. The law teaches you how to love God and how to love our people and people in general, right? You just saw that he said for the strangers. You know what I'm saying? People ain't got nothing to do with us. They just happen to be passing through. Just leave something for you. Know these folks is hungry. They've been traveling. You ain't have buses and planes and all that stuff back then. These people walking. Ain't got no property over here. I ain't got no fast food place to just stop and eat. I had to pack my own food. If I run out, then what? Well, at least I can walk through this Hebrew's yard. And you know what? He got some food on there. I'm just going to pick some. They probably think they stealing. Because, you know, they come from some unrighteous place. They probably think, like, man, let me just grab that real quick and go. We looking at them like, man, praise God. You know what I'm saying? It conditioned our heart. The law was supposed to condition our heart to be, like, that was supposed to be something to be proud of. I'm happy I have something in my field that they could take. Matter of fact, every 7 years, what we have to do?
Give a tithe to the priest.
Give a tithe?
Poor. Yeah, for the poor.
Give a tithe every 7 years? What happened every 7 years?
Jubilee. The year Jubilee.
Yeah, year release, right?
Year release, right? What was supposed to happen though?
You release your servants and you don't send them away empty-handed. It was
Okay.
It's kind of like a pension. How we look at a pension, retirement from work.
What else? What else we have to do on the 7th year? What do we have to do on the 7th day?
I don't remember.
On the 7th day, what do we do?
The year release.
On the 7th day, what do we do of the week?
7th day of what? Oh, the Sabbath. We rest.
We rest. On the 7th year, what do we do?
It's a Sabbath rest. The whole land rests.
The whole land got to rest. What happens when the whole land is resting on the 7th year?
All of the harvest, all of the fruits, everything is just grow abundantly.
Whatever grows out there, you leave it.
Mm-hmm.
And guess who's supposed to be able to get it whenever they want?
The poor.
The poor.
Fatherless, stranger. And
this a whole year, you don't put a darn seed in the ground. You don't do nothing. Whatever come out of the ground, it just come out of the ground.
And on the 6th year, God will give you double because
he said, I'm going to make sure you taken care of. Man, these people ain't never seen nothing so righteous. They've never seen anything so righteous. I got to let my slave go. Anybody who owe me a debt, it got to be forgiven in the 7th year. This is the most righteous thing that the world has seen. Right now, what I'm trying to tell you, right now, as is, we can implement this law here, fix all these problems. I mean, we just kill off all these people. Oh no, we bring it back stoning. We bring it back the death penalty, according to Yah's death penalty, right? Oh, we just gonna straighten all these people. A lot of them gotta go. It ain't no fix. A lot of them just gotta go, right? A lot of them gotta go. But what that does is that creates another generation that look and be like, oh, this is serious. Right now, you don't have nobody taking nothing serious. They just do whatever they want to do.
But
you get to seeing people.
That's what's gonna happen when the kingdom come though. Like
this is what's happening. This is the law.
That's exactly what's gonna happen.
The only difference is our heart's gonna be conditioned for it. Right? He gonna condition our hearts for it to be able to walk into it.
Yahshua's gonna get rid of everybody, like everybody that's not with this. Like it's done. Like
yeah, you're gonna have to submit to it. And then even after that, our hearts is gonna be conditioned to it, and there's gonna be outsiders that come and go and all this, and they're gonna have to be adhered to the law. Right? They're gonna be other nations, they're gonna be Gentiles, whatever, and they're gonna have to adhere to the law.
Law's done away with stuff. They don't even know when Yahshua come back. All of this stuff we reading, like it's gonna be done.
Is it? It's gonna be perfect. Because it's perfect. Why change? It's perfect. All right, let's go back. This is John chapter 15. I'm gonna try to finish this out. I wanted to go through a couple chapters today. But I'm like we're gonna get a chance. It's John chapter 15. What verse are we on? 8, 9, 10?
We on verse
13, 14.
14. You are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knows not what his Lord does. But I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you.
Okay.
You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you.
Okay.
And ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit, that your fruit should remain. Mm-hmm. That whatsoever you shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you.
Okay.
These things I command you, that you love one another.
Love one another.
If the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you.
So stop crying.
If
you gotta understand what he's trying to tell you right there. I mean, you gotta, for real, you gotta understand what he's trying to tell you right there. Right. If the Lord world, like, I know what you, like, trust me, I know what you're about to go through. It's about to be tough, I get it, yeah, whatever. If the world hates you, just know, it hated me first. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm already dead. And when you realize the world hates you, I'm dead already. You know what I'm saying? What did the white tell? What he tell?
If I'm dead, then you guys been dead for weeks.
You know what I'm saying? He said, I was already dead, man. If they hate you, trust me, they already hated me. Right? Keep going.
These things I command you, that you love one another. If the world hated you, know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love his own. Mm-hmm. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Mm-hmm. Remember the word that I said unto you. The servant is not greater than his Lord. Mm-hmm. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. Yeah. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also.
Notice that he prepares them, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure they're not getting it. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, oh, that's very beautiful, very eloquently said, Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure they're not getting it because that's just how we are. But it's like, oh, this is what he was talking about. That's what I try to do at work. I just try to prepare. You know what I'm saying? When I have to give people advice, I try to prepare like this is the hope, right? But it's also going to be hard. You know what I'm saying? Like for this hope, like, it's real tough. But this is also going to get really tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we got this project and we're going to have to work on this project. We got a whole lot of stuff. I need y'all to be quiet. We got this project. We got a whole lot of stuff. We're going to have to get through this, that, and other. When we get through it, though, we're going to have this and we're going to have that. We got this. However, to get there, y'all going to have to deal with all these things. Right? He's not trying to sell no dream. He's not like these people right now. These pastors and all this stuff that we see today, they only want to talk about the goodness of God. They only want to talk about promises and prosperity and all that. They don't want to talk about like, oh, okay, but this is how you're going to feel. This is what you got to do. This is your responsibility. This is what's going to happen if you get it wrong. Right? Let's see. Keep going.
Remember the word that I said unto you. The servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin. But now they have no cloak for their sin. He that hates me hates my Father also. If I had not done among them the works which none other man did, they had not had sin. But now have they both seen and hated both me and my Father. But this comes to pass that the word might be fulfilled that is written in their law. They hated me without a cause.
I can't stress this enough. The whole plan is to set sinners up. Like, understand what he just said. Had I not come and did wonders that no man has ever done, then they might not have sinned. Right? He said they wouldn't have sinned if I didn't do that. But I did. And I did it so that the scriptures are fulfilled, that they hated me without a cause. This could have been avoided is what he's trying to tell you. But really, it couldn't have. Right? I had to do it this way. It has to be a setup. Keep going. It's different when you look at the book that way. It's important. Like me, that's the most helpful thing in the world. Be like, oh, this is a setup. And you're telling me how to navigate through it. Thanks. Like the whole thing is a setup. And you're telling me if you go like this, then the trap ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? Like if you do these things, you can avoid this trap. And that's available to everybody. But the trap is, everybody ain't gonna get it. Oh, man, I love the man, man. I love the man. Keep going.
You say you seek, your sin remain.
I know that's right.
But when the Comforter is come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, which proceeds from the Father, he shall testify of me. Mm-hmm. And you also shall bear witness, because you have been with me from the beginning.
That's right.
That's it. You want to go into 16?
Mm-hmm. Go.
These things have I spoken unto you, that you should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogue.
When he says offended,
sin.
It's not, he's not saying
Offended in what he teaches.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's saying like, I'm saying this stuff to you so that you don't sin. When he said offended, he talking about them sinning.
Like offense. Like you don't commit any offenses.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, so he's saying, I'm saying this to you so that you don't end up sinning. In other words, there's going to be pressure on you. Yes.
Can I go on?
Yes, go. There's going to be pressure on you, right? That is going to push you and tempt you to want to do something. So somebody run up in your face and be like, man, what you talking about? Y'all, why I knock you out? Right? It's going to tempt you, be like, what, man? You ain't going to do nothing. Boy, I'll knock you out. Right? But it's like, oh, wait, that ain't necessarily the way I need to respond to that. I actually really just tell them about Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to fight the man. You know what I'm saying? He swing on me, that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know what I'm saying? The man just say, I'll knock you out. I tell you, when you ask me who is Yahushua, look, let me tell you about Yahushua. Right? You put me in jail, you do whatever you need to do, whatever, but let me tell you about Yahushua, right? Keep going.
These things have I spoken unto you, that you should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time comes that whosoever kills you will think that he does God's service.
That's important for us to understand. He's preparing them for what's happening. He's letting them know, like, look, these are the things that's about to happen. They gonna get rid of you. Matter of fact, they gonna try to kill you. And they gonna think in the midst of that they doing the right thing by me. That is still what happens today. It's important that we have to understand that, like, people don't realize that they absolutely wrong about what they're doing. They think that they're doing the right thing. In their mind, it's a well-intentioned thing. It's only through us that we look at it and be like, oh, no, that don't make no darn sense. You don't even understand what you do. That's why Yahushua said, forgive them. They don't know for they know not what they do. Right? In their mind, they thought they were killing Yahushua. Like, okay, yeah, we protecting the nation. They thought they were doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm. We got rid of this idol worshiper.
Huh?
Like, we got rid of the idol worshiper. We put away the evil from Israel. That's what they're thinking.
Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? In their mind, they looking like, yeah. This, you know what I'm saying? This weirdos preaching it. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 13. It's Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 1.
If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and gives you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or a wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto you, saying, let us go after other gods, which you have not known, and let us serve them, you shall not hearken to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams.
Do you see what that just said? He said, if a dreamer of dream come onto you, and he does signs or wonders, and what happens?
And they come to pass.
He said, and it happens, right? This is not talking about just somebody who's just lying, just like, oh yeah, so I'm about to, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, on the third day, you know what I'm saying, this tower is gonna fall. It's not just somebody, and then you wait 3 days, ain't nothing darn fall. He's not talking about that guy. He's talking about the guy who tell you, on the third day, that tower gonna fall. And on the third day, that tower fell. Right? He said, it came to pass. If some man come to you and he's a dreamer of dreams, he got visions and dreams, and he do some signs and wonders, and that stuff happened just like he said it happened, but he talking to you about some other God, don't even mess with it. This is preparing the setup. Because Yahushua came, but he was talking in their mind about he got to be somebody. Because this man just said he's one with the Father. You got to be talking about some other God. You ain't talking about our God. It's just like us. People will tell us, oh, well, no, I mean, Jesus is that another. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's another. You know, that's another. Just like Paul said, that's another Jesus. Right? Because they don't line up. Yep. So their thinking was the same as our thinking. Right? Our thinking is according to the scripture because we more has been revealed to us, right? And we're able to look into the scripture and kind of line it up. But you look at it, that's what they were attempting to do with limited information. Their expectation was designed to be a setup. The Most High God wanted it to be that way. So if we go back to John 16, you'll look at it and you'll see the reason why these people are seeking to kill the disciples. And in doing that, thinking they do God's service, is because they're looking at Deuteronomy chapter 13 that says, listen, if you have somebody coming around talking that nonsense, even if they laying hands on people and they getting healed, even if these people are giving people the Holy Spirit, even if these people are talking in tongues, like I speak this language and I can hear you speak in my language. Or I hear you speaking in a language that only angels speak in. Right? And some guy over here, he got a gifted interpretation. He can interpret what you're talking about. He said, even if all that happened, if they talk about another God, you stone them. So our people, we hear that and we like, oh yeah, but that ain't the Messiah. Therefore, he must have been sent from somebody else. Therefore, guess what?
Got a stone.
Got it. That's our law. They think they following the law. They think they're doing God's service. Right? Keep going. He's preparing them for all this.
All these things they will do unto you because they have not known me, known the Father, nor me. Mm-hmm. But these things have I told you that when the time shall come, you may remember that I told you of them.
Right? You tell them. This is what it's all about. It's not so that they can walk away from that conversation and be like, yo, in a couple years, I'm trying to tell y'all, these people going to do this, that, and the other and try to get the glory for what Yahushua just said. That's what a lot of people do right now when Yahushua let them, you know what I'm saying, when the Spirit let them like look into the book and kind of glean something out of it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, in Revelations, I realize this is going to happen. They try to walk out there and just have a glory like, oh, I'm predicting the future. This is how it's going to play out. Man, that's not what it's about, man. It's about learning it, hearing it, so that when it happens, you be like, man said it was going to happen just like that. Like, I didn't know how it was going to play out, but now that I see it, he said it was going to happen. That's why Revelation tell you at the end of it, it tell you, blessed is the man who keep the sayings of this book. Because you're keeping it in memory, because when you do that, once you see it happen, like you can't tell nobody how Revelation is going to play out. It's just impossible, right? I mean, you can try to come up with some theories and you might have some fun with it, but you can't really definitively tell somebody like this is how it's going to play out. But when you see it, if you're familiar with it, you're going to be like, oh, okay, this is what the Most High God was talking about. And what do you think that does for you?
Increase your faith.
It increases your faith. So now you have more faith walking into a situation that everybody else is freaked out in. Because you saw it and be like, oh, this is happening exactly how God said. And you know that you're walking accordingly to what God said. And you know what he say about people who walk accordingly to God. So if this happened how he said, then you know what's going to happen to me in the end if I stay faithful? I'm going to be raised up on the last day. I'm scared these people go. I ain't getting no darn mark. We good. It increases your faith. You walk in the midst of chaos knowing there's peace around you. It's a different feeling. That's why Paul calls it the peace that passes all understanding. Keep going.
But these things have I told you that when the time shall come, you may remember that I told you of them. Mm-hmm. And these things I said not unto you at the beginning because I was with you. Uh-huh. But now I go my way to him that sent me, and none of you ask me where I am going. Mm-hmm. Where are you going? But because I have said these things unto you, sorrow has filled your heart. Uh-huh. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. If it is expedient for you that I go away, For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him to you. And when he is come, he will reprove the world of sin and righteousness and of judgment. Of sin, because they believe not on me. Of righteousness, because I go to my Father and you see me no more. Of judgment, because the prince of this world is judged.
He said the prince of this world is judged. Keep going.
I have yet many things to say unto you, but you cannot bear them now. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. He shall glorify me, for he shall receive of mine and shall show it unto you. All these things that the Father all things that the Father has are mine. Therefore said I that he shall take of mine and shall show it unto you. A little while and you shall not see me, and again a little while, and you shall see me, because I go to the Father. Then said some of the disciples among themselves, what is this that he says unto us? A little while and you shall not see me, and again a little while you shall see me. And because I go to my Father. They said therefore, what is this that he says? A little while. We cannot tell what he says.
A lot of people look at that and they be like, see, Yahusha was supposed to come back soon. He said a little while, then a little while.
No, he was like, he met with him again after he was raised from the dead.
Exactly. Right? He said a little while, you ain't gonna see me. Man was down 3 days, 3 nights, right? Then after that, he showed himself to him, and then what happened after that?
And boy, preached the word to him. Gave him more.
Then he gone,
Yeah, then
came
he
back
gone.
again. Then he gone after that for good. Not for good, but for good for them. So they wasn't gonna see him no more. Right? He said, a little while you ain't gonna see me. In a little while you gonna see me again. Because I go to the Father. After that, he went to the Father. Right? Keep going. But you gotta pay attention. Like, he said stuff like that on purpose. Right? It's meant to be cryptic. It's meant to throw you off. It's meant to give a sense of urgency to the disciples. That's why the disciples run around like, man, any minute. You know what I'm saying? It was meant to be that way. Because it took urgency.
They was trying to get that thing off. Like,
It had to go. Most like God knew what he was doing. Like, yeah, I'm gonna make them think. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put it on there. I ain't gonna tell them it's gonna happen right away. I'm gonna put it to them like, hey, look, listen. Because it was expedient for them. Keep going.
Yeah, we the ones walking around dragging our feet.
Yeah, buddy. We the closest it ever. It ain't never been closer, and we the ones that there lackadaisical about it. Oh, this, that, and other. Even me, I be catching myself telling people, nah, man, the end ain't gonna be yet. I be having to catch myself and be like, oh, nah, you know what I'm saying? You look at the book. They ain't the attitude they had. Attitude like, man, that thing might happen tomorrow. You never know. Right? Because you don't know. We looking at these events like, oh, well, first this gotta happen. This, like, as if it just has to be 6 months. You know what I'm saying?
Or, you know what I'm saying, who's to say the event didn't happen because we on the other side of the world? You know what I'm saying?
Like, it might be the last stream.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Most like God did some of this stuff in the corner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't air it on TV. How we gonna find out about it?
Right.
Keep going.
Now Yahshua knew that they were desiring to ask him, and said unto them, do you inquire among yourselves of that I said a little while, and ye shall not see me, and again a little while, and ye shall see me? Verily, verily, I say unto you, that you shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice. And you shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy. A woman, when she is in travail, has sorrow because her hour has come. But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembers no more the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world.
I'll tell you, my wife, we sitting there, my wife, they tell me to push and all that stuff. She said, yeah, it's too hard. I'm trying to be nice to her and everything. I'm sitting there, I'll never forget rubbing the girl's forehead. Like, this is my idea. I came up with an idea.
They did not tell you to push.
They will tell you no, they tell you to push. She's having the contractions, right? She having contractions and stuff, and they hit her and they tell her, you know what I'm saying, hold on. They tell her to breathe. That's what they tell her. They're like, breathe, you know, to breathe, because she kept on stopping. And so, you know what I'm saying, I went to her forehead, just rubbing her forehead like that, just rubbing right here, just like that. She like, just move! Get away! Right, you know what I'm saying? Then this black nurse, you know what I'm saying, she come over here, she started doing the same thing I was doing. I guess ain't nobody hand softer than mine. I don't care what nobody says. So she started doing it. She's like, oh, this feels so I said, oh yeah, I just don't belong here. That's what it is. I ain't got no business. I don't care. I was like, I just don't belong.
It's that Me Too movement, man.
Huh?
It's that Me Too movement.
That's what it is. That's where it started right there. You know what I'm saying? But you look at it, She was in there about to die. Is this the worst experience? I ain't never seen my wife in so much darn pain. Couldn't do nothing about it. Kid you not. 2 days later, I think we should have another one. I said, woman, you done lost it. After my first child, I did not want any more children, simply for the fact that I never wanted to see that from my wife again. I never wanted to be in a position where I try to help her and it ain't good enough. Then I gotta watch some darn random nurse do what I was just doing. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden make her feel better. And then after that, she back to all this pain and I can't do nothing about it. Right? So you look at it, the Most High God is telling you, it's like a woman in travail. It's like a woman in labor. But after the baby comes, it's joy. She don't remember nothing about the labor. To the day she don't remember the labor. You let her tell a story. That thing in her mind, oh no, it's about an hour. You know what I'm saying? I was like, no. We all died that day. Like everybody died. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the worst. That was Armageddon. Like what
My
are you
wife
talking about?
ain't never had no quick labor. That thing was always like 15, 16 hours.
That's crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying? But after the baby get there, it's like, oh. And you look at the baby, and that's what he's describing. He's like, listen, just know, you just push past this stuff. It's gonna get rough. These people gonna be trying to kill you. But you just push past it. You ain't gonna remember none of that stuff happened. Stuff, you ain't even gonna be thinking about that stuff. Just keep going. Don't faint. Keep going, watch this.
And you now therefore have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and your joy no man takes from you. And in that day you shall ask me nothing. Verily, verily, I say unto you, whatsoever you shall ask the Father in my name, he will give it to you. Hitherto have you asked me nothing in my name. Asking you shall receive, that your joy may be full. These things have I spoken unto you in Proverbs, but the time comes when I shall no more speak unto you in Proverbs, but I shall speak plainly, show you plainly of the Father.
They like that, right? You know what I'm saying? He's like, time gonna come. He's like, right now I've been talking to you in parables. But the time gonna come, I ain't gonna talk to you in parable. I'm gonna speak to you plainly. I'm just gonna give it to you, just straight. Watch what they say now.
But I shall show you plainly of the Father. In that day you shall ask in my name, and I say not unto you that I will pray the Father for you. For the Father himself loves you, because you have loved me and have believed that I came out from God. I came forth from the Father, and I am come into the world again, and I leave the world and go to the Father. And the disciple said unto him, Lo,
look, the disciple said unto him what?
Now you speak plainly to us.
Because he just said, one day I'm going to give it to you plain. So that caught their ear. They look like, so when he finished talking, he's like, see, there we go. Now you talking to us plainly. Watch this.
Now are we sure that you know all things, and need not that any man should ask you. By this we believe that you came forth from God. And Yahshua answered them, do you now believe?
Look, he's like, now you talking to us, because right now he's just giving them the game. This is how it's about to play out. This is how it goes. They look like, okay, now you talking to us plainly. So now we know that you the Son of God, and we know that you the one. We believe. Yahshua came back and he's like, oh, you believe? Now y'all believe? You think you believe now? He's asking them. He's like, oh, so you think you believe right now, don't you? Watch this.
Behold, the hour comes, yea, and now come, that you shall be scattered, every man to his own, and shall leave me alone, and yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me.
He said, you think you believe now. It's about to go down, and all y'all butts gonna run. Every last one of y'all gonna run. Fear. But you think you believe. Yahshua know, like he already look at it like, man, I already know how this stuff play out. I know how it look. I know how it's gonna go. I know what gotta happen. Like you don't believe now. Trust me, you gonna believe. Not now.
After you get your car, you know how to get your car.
That's the end of the chapter. Keep going.
These things have I spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. In the world you shall have tribulation. But be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. That's the end.
That has to be our perspective, right? Our perspective is in Yahushua, we have peace. Even though in the world we have tribulation. Even though there's challenges in the world, there's heartbreak in the world, there's things that come against us, there's pressures, there's all these different things. All that is happening. But in Yahushua we have peace, and that's what pushes us through. Right? That's what pushes us through. Just letting us know that in Yahushua, I know that you said, if I meet these things, if I do these things, if I repent and I love my neighbor according to the love of the law, right? Then you'll raise me up at the last day. So if that's the case, if the worst thing that can happen to me now is that I die, whether it be by a man shooting me point blank in the face, or by me catching some, disease that I can't come back from, the worst thing that could happen is I die. You bring me back from that. All right, I'll push through that. Whatever coming, I won't push through it. That's what he's trying to communicate to his disciples, the ones that became apostles. Because that's what's important to him. Like, he don't care nothing about no dying. He don't care nothing about no whatever we want. What he care about is that you obey. Because he got a plan for us. Like, he got a plan. He's looking at it like, listen, I know what I can do. Like, I know what I can take this little bit that you're doing here, and I know I can turn that into this over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a plan. All I need you to do is follow through. Like, all of us have plans for people in our lives. Like, we got people in our lives be like, man, listen, if you just do it just like this is how it'll work out. And you be knowing it, and we really don't be knowing it. You know what I'm saying? But we confident about it. How much more so Yahushua when he's looking like, oh no, I literally know it. Like, I know you, and I know how everything works if you do it this way. And since we can't see everything he see, and he don't care to try to make us see everything that he see, I just want you to see what I thought you were going to see. Because if I got to tell you everything, you was never fit for the job anyway. You just didn't have a heart anyway. I said, I only have to tell you this, and you should follow it. If that ain't you, then you ain't the right one. Right? Sometimes you do interviews like that. People interview you, be like, okay, well, I'm going to ask you these questions. If you can't get it right based off of these questions, I'm not going to ask you every question in the world. I'm not going to put you through every test in the world. What I'm looking for are these specific things. I know. I've done this long enough to know that if you can answer these right, okay, you the person I'm looking for.
I'm almost done. Go down.
Right? And that's what it comes down to when it comes to the Most High God. We got to push through. There ain't no other way. He's preparing us. This whole book is written for our admonition. We just read it. It's written for our admonition. In other words, that's a warning. It's written for our warning. It's saying, hey, these are the things that may come up. All we got to do is keep that in memory and push through, because now we're being prepared for what's going to happen. Right? This stuff that we've been going through, man, is light. It's light. It's real light. There's a whole lot more that could be happening, and a whole lot more either in our lifetime or in the future that will be happening. We just got to ask ourselves, we got to ask ourselves, are we up for the task? And the second thing we got to ask and kind of wait and see is, what role are we playing? You know what I'm saying? Because you look at Paul. Paul was in a great time, right? Paul, Peter, all them, they was in a great time. But man, they had parents. You know what I mean? Like, they had parents that likely positioned them for that great time. Right?
Yeah, they had the land, they had the law intact, they had all of the history, they had everything they had.
They had a whole lot of stuff that positioned them, but it's like, what role, like the role that we see right now? Because remember, there was a time that there was no prophets.
Yeah, but
remember, John came, right? Yeah, and everybody around is teaching it wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that much different from where we are. And they ruled by another nation who building land, like building stuff in their land. Like, you understand? Like, we had castles and all this different stuff. These Roman people putting structures in our land. That's why our people are so frustrated. Like, what you doing? They came and messed with our temple and rebuilt it according to their liking. You know what I'm saying? So it's like what is this? What's this fooling? What y'all got going on? Right? So it's like, it's not completely different. Right? We could find ourselves in a situation where in our lifetime, perhaps our children's lifetime, or maybe even later, right? That things could be positioned to see the end come in. and you have this new awakening that needs to happen for us to be ushered out of here, right? So we got to make sure that we ready if it happened in our time, and make sure our kids is ready if it happens in their time. And if it happens even later, we got to make sure we pass this mantle down of the word that the Most High God has given us, and make sure that this thing continue on according to His purpose and according to His will. It's nothing else that's important. The rest of this stuff is all secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions? Let's pray out.
Man, I forgot like John 14 through 17 was hitters.